sleeping dogs.
Nah.
It's funny 'cause that's
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Digital Reload, DigitalDailyFix.com's weekly episodic video game podcast.
football. Hooray!
Here on Spreaker.com. If we sound a little far away, like I said earlier, which you may or may not have heard,
We're in a tunnel.
We're
We're deep within the Earth's core.
We found that mine where we can bury bodies.
we are recording.
Yeah.
We are
That
recording through the.
refinery.
We are recording through the iPad, thanks to Spreaker's DJ iPad app,
Wiki wee.
because the
Just like that.
well, you know, because the recording room is all messy, and I didn't feel like cleaning it up.
Dead bodies.
'Cause it's my house, and
We need to find
Fuck
that
yeah.
metal foundry.
Done and done. Or we'll have to build it.
Oh no, we'll just take all the dead bodies in the recording room and take them to your house and use them as mortar for your bathroom.
Okay.
This is very expensive.
I know, right? So,
Chandelier skulls.
Not as extensive as the Skip Bayless.
so tonight, as we said, the topic is franchises that have grown stale. Here to discuss exactly that, why we think these franchises may have gone stale, and what needs to happen to them in order to get us interested again. If that's even possible. There may be franchises that are too far gone. There may be franchises that people just never gave a shit about to begin with, so it doesn't matter what they do.
I can think of one that fulfills both of those categories.
Go ahead.
God of War.
I'm done with God of War.
Yeah. I never cared about God of War.
I really liked the first one. I thought the second one was awesome. I thought the third one was okay. And then I felt, you know what?
They've done everything.
That's it. Yeah,
What?
that's it. They wrapped it up. And then they were like, oh, hey, we got a prequel coming. I'm like, so?
Shit.
No.
I think a better way to handle
See,
that
the
would have
problem
been a sequel where he starts going after different gods.
He
But
just
no.
jumps over into Norse mythology.
Coming for you, Jesus.
I was going to say, it's kind of like watching the Titanic. You already know what the ending is.
God of
So-
War Modern Combat.
Ew. It's like instead of two swords, it's like two like assault rifles.
No,
attached by chains.
No, he's still got all his weapons, but it's present day.
Oh.
But wouldn't he be at a disadvantage?
Put him in the middle of Chicago.
Well, he's a god.
He's a god at that point. Why would he be at a disadvantage?
Well,
from
wouldn't it be
bullets?
really boring?
Yeah,
then?
so were those other gods that he killed. They were gods too. And then they're dead.
Yeah, but that-
Oh, dead.
Where do
They-
gods go when they die?
they were
My ass.
all killed by
Bend
his
over.
god-empowered weapons. It's not like he went up there with a stick and a plunger and beat
Because
Zeus
he's not
to
man
death.
enough.
Well, what if the stick and the plunger were powered by gods?
Well, then there you go. But that's not what they gave him. They gave him big
Gets out
giant
the
blades.
toughest claws.
They gave him crazy weapons, and it's
Give
just
me
like
your assholes, Zeus.
And then he can yell, "I'll take a switch to you" every time because he's got a stick.
yeah. It's just weird to
Oh,
see.
no. I'm sorry. One more thing. It'd be funny if he had a section of racetrack imbued by God's powers. And then there'd be a quick time event where you bend him over and slap at that ass.
A NASCAR, like Daytona USA.
No, a race car, a section of race car track.
I know how that feels.
Deep buried childhood repressed memories.
All out there in the open for all of us to think about now.
Never.
And now I'm going to go to sleep tonight thinking of that.
Good.
I don't
you?
get to sleep.
I hope instead of
No.
thinking,
I
someone
don't
actually.
get to sleep tonight.
I didn't sleep last night.
Oh,
so you know what?
don't. You don't
No
get to sleep
one lo-
tonight.
Nobody pays me in gum. But yeah, you get to mess around with Fire Emblem. Well, more like the character creation.
So you can have your guys' eyes open,
Shut
or
up.
slightly more
Shut
closed, or
Shut
like
up.
more open,
Shut up.
or like
You're
a little more
stupid.
closed.
I hate you.
I'm just saying.
And I'm just saying, stop it. Stop the fighting.
I'm gonna shut
I was
up.
just trying to inform Brett.
I don't want mommy and daddy fighting.
We'll turn the house around.
Maybe
We'll turn this podcast around.
You know what? We're going to have to chain him in the corner. He's going to have to do the Rob Parker.
Oh, Jesus.
Rob Parker.
We'll explain that another time.
But
Whenever your show comes back.
so no major news like last week. No big things like THQ or Nintendo. You weren't there for that show at all, if I remember correctly.
No.
So,
I was in DC.
real quick, any opinions you want to share on the THQ bankruptcy, the new homes for...
Why didn't anybody buy Darksiders? That still doesn't make any sense to me.
Game was mediocre at best.
From what...
But would you argue that mediocre games still sell well?
Sometimes.
All right.
It didn't sell enough to keep THQ in business.
Yeah, well.
It actually didn't really...
Neither did a lot of things.
No, I mean, mainly they died because of U-Draw, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, it was U-Draw, and there are other games that got snatched up that weren't as marketable, in my opinion.
Like what?
I can't think of any right now.
Anything from Relic, I would think.
Yeah. That thing
Well,
he said.
What is Relic making right now? They're making Metro, the sequel to Metro 20. Are they doing Metro?
I don't know off the top of my head. I know they do, what was it? Company of Heroes?
Yeah, they do Company of Heroes, which, I mean, I don't. It's a big RTS for the PC realm, but I don't know what that is in comparison to like a game like Darksiders. So I don't feel qualified to really comment on something like that. I'm just saying. I'm just being honest. Stop friggin' with the lid.
Nosy.
You're an adult. Act like it.
Not much of one.
I am acting like an adult.
And you know what? You break my sister's crock pot. You're gonna
I'm
have to pay
acting
for
like
it.
an adult in the sense that I'm an adult, and I am acting well within my rights to do this.
Get out.
Yeah.
You know what? This show was better when you were gone.
Oh.
All right. Well, I'm here now, so suck it up, pansy.
All right.
No, it's my
Alright,
show. I'll hit the fucking stop button.
Alright, Brett,
You're
gotta bring
the
up the
one
bitch
making
now.
the changes. I'm not the one being affected by it. It's you.
That's
So
fine.
you're the one
I'll
hurting.
just-
You're hurting yourself.
Nope, I'll just start recording.
You might as well just cut yourself. and
I'll
bleed
just
and die.
record tomorrow by myself.
And then
I'll feel happier.
then you're putting all these guys out.
No, because he'll be back for the chin lock.
So you're the villain here.
I'm not the villain.
You're the villain.
Are you heartbroken, Brett?
No.
See, I'm not a villain for him. And he'll be back for the chin lock,
Oh, Brett, doesn't-
even though he won't really have much to talk about.
Brett is the villain.
What?
No, I will, because you know what? Didn't happen.
Nope, it did. It did.
We
And
didn't talk about it, so it
What
didn't
happened?
happen.
well, no, it did. And I'm going to give the next episode that we do your last episode to talk about TNA.
The whole episode.
Not the whole episode,
Good
but
show.
not the whole.
75.
It wasn't that heartbreaking that we have to devote a whole episode.
Yeah.
Josh
No.
Matthews.
Anyway, what were the other news
13.
articles that you talked about last week?
We talked about that in the Nintendo Direct stuff. But as far as the Darksiders thing, before we move on to that, from what I understand, the reason those other franchises and studios all sold the way they did is because those are all games that are currently in development that could easily hit by the end of this year. Vigil is currently not working on a game that will hit anytime soon.
That makes sense.
Because of that, they're not an easy purchase. So if maybe Darksiders 3 was scheduled to hit this year,
Would be any good.
well, I like 2. I mean, 2 had some glitchy,
They're not bad
some
games.
glitches.
I'm not saying they're the best games ever.
I
but
can't judge one. I never played one.
They're better than your
Kinda
average
stinks.
release.
I never played.
Shut up.
I never played one, so I can't.
They're
judge,
barely
but
better than Call of Duty, which is an issue.
I like 2. I don't think 2 is just barely better than Call of Duty.
Barely better than Call of Duty.
That's fine. See. I don't even. There's no point in arguing with you because you argue just to argue, and you
Sometimes.
won't. You won't concede a point if there's any actual chance that you may be incorrect.
You gotta convince me. Gotta convince me that I'm wrong. And that's what I can
You
do.
played Darksiders 2 longer than you played Call of Duty Black Ops 2, did you not?
Well, that
Go
would,
ahead and just say yes.
that would still only make it slightly. That would still make his.
That's okay.
Wait. How is that? Darksiders had one sequel where Call of Duty has like 40,000 sequels.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
But that
the
doesn't-
most recent
That
games.
doesn't prove anything. Because I put more time in other Call of Duties than I put in Darksiders 2.
I'm not talking about other Call of
So,
Duties. I'm talking
so
about
far,
the most recent
they're
iterations.
the same game.
They're not the same game.
Yeah, they're the same game.
They're not the same.
Wait, what are the same game?
Call of Duty.
All the Call of Duties?
Except for 3.
Okay, all the Call
The
of
difference
Duties.
is they came out in the past. I'm talking about the most current iterations of each franchise.
But that only
What does that prove, though?
that only validates his previous...
Never mind.
No. I'm not trying to argue that. I'm just saying...
I can't win against him anyway, so whatever.
Well, no, all I was saying is, asking him if he played a Call of Duty game more than he played Darksiders would only validate his previous statement that he said.
I wasn't arguing against it.
No, I know you weren't, but I'm just saying, if you were, was your goal to try to prove that it's better than
I
slightly
don't
better
even
than
know
Call of Duty.
anymore.
I was trying to find out what his point was.
That's what I was.
I was arguing that it's slightly better than Call of Duty. I was agreeing with you.
Okay. Well, yeah, I did play Darksiders 2 more than Blocks
I thought
2.
you were trying to make a point that it was just better than slightly.
Yeah,
It is better. I think it is.
I was,
But there's
so
no
do I.
sense
I
in
was
arguing
confused.
it.
I was confused.
Yeah, that's the only thing you weren't making clear. Well, it's
No,
all good.
that was
It was all good. Yeah, I mean that's the only thing that wasn't clear. It's like
Oh, I'm not actually upset.
I know on a level of liking that
It's fucking
game,
awesome.
you two are on two different levels, But I thought you were trying to make a point that it's better than.
I
just
think it
like-
is.
Yeah, so do I.
Well, I
had a
hope
lot.
so.
I had a lot more fun playing that than playing Black Ops. So and I
Black Ops is shit.
I own Black Ops.
Well, yeah.
Build your love pond.
Yeah,
But
I'm working.
next, the next thing was Nintendo and all their announcements. So.
I don't remember half of that stuff, so I'm kidding. I do. I don't really have an opinion on that other than what you guys have probably already
Well,
talked about.
what's your thoughts of buying a Wii U now?
There you go.
I can wait till it drops permanently in price. Still,
So none of those games coming out this year has
not enough for me to drop it. $350.
Fair enough. I don't know.
Are you gonna, Brad? Are you gonna buy one this year?
Possibly not this year, but
So
I'm definitely probably going to buy one.
I mean, I'm gonna buy one. It's not a matter of if,
No, it's a matter of when.
but I would like to see a $50 price drop, and I would like to see those games out.
The biggest thing for me is I'm going to need to find out more about how Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem is going to
The
be like.
That's gonna be interesting as long as the music's good.
The big thing about a Wii U price drop is the fact that that system is taking a loss for Nintendo.
Yeah.
So-
Well, I mean, the retailers can still offer it at a lower cost. I'm not. Well, I don't mean permanent. I mean like Black Friday through $299.99 and buy those games. I'm not going to buy one before those games come out.
I mean, they can do that. I mean, or just something like that. Me personally, I feel like if anybody's out there waiting for it to be $300, I don't think that's coming this year, and I don't think it's coming next year. Because it's the first Nintendo was easy to drop prices on the systems because they were making a profit of like $100 or more, where taking $50 off doesn't hurt.
Well, then, if that doesn't happen, then I would like to see a couple of those good games bundled with it. Then
Because like my thing is, no, and I agree that would be nice.
that
if
would
they
be
did
more
that.
likely now that we're talking about it.
Yeah, because
See like one or two first party, like have Nintendo Land and then one other good first party Wii U game bundled with it. Then I might, because that's $50 right there.
yeah, because they're saying right now it's like they make a loss on every system, and right now the way systems are being bought and everything, they're not getting the guaranteed game attach rate. So that means they're not making a profit on what's selling. And if they're still not making a profit on what's selling, I know that may sound like something that would drop a price, but it sounds to me more like they're going to find more interesting ways to bundle the current price, like you said with games
Yeah, I
or
mean,
something.
an extra, not an extra gamepad, of course, because that's way too expensive.
Yeah.
But
Bundle it with-
throw a couple Wii Motion Plus controllers, a couple of games, like a more complete
yeah,
system set.
yeah.
I mean, like I said, I have every intention on buying a Wii U. I'm gonna get one, but I want those good games that they're talking about to be out.
Yeah.
And I want a little more value. Like, not to say it's not a good value, because it's not a bad price. $350 is not terrible. But if I bought it now, they would just sit until those games came out anyway. So, like, I have no interest in play any of the games that are out right now.
Like you want to get use out of it when you buy it.
Yeah, I want a couple of games. I want at least one or two games to play immediately when I open it and hook it up.
We have to finish downloading everything first.
Yeah, but by then, if he's buying it after those games came out,
That's fucking awesome.
he's buying it.
It's going to be updated.
Yeah, he's buying it after it's updated and after those downloads have been approved.
Like, I like what Nintendo's doing. I'm not like, it's not like, I don't want to shit on the Wii U because I think it has a lot of potential. I'm going to get one. I just want a couple of killer apps.
Yeah.
I want to hear a little bit more about Smash Bros. too.
I feel after the launch, Nintendo needed to do something, and I feel the
did.
Nintendo Direct was that something.
They've done better work with this than the 3DS, and I think they did a better job than 360 and PS3's launch.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they're...
Way back when they first came out.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they had the big launch list, which is now starting to slow down. You have one decent-sized release a month, with February being Rayman, March being Monster Hunter. I don't remember what is, like, April or anything. I mean, you got the Wonderful 101 somewhere in there.
And when's Bayonetta 2 come out?
I don't think that's launch window.
I don't think that is either.
I think that's fall. At earliest, I think it's fall.
Use your flying machine.
Wonderful 101 is also made by Platinum Games, and that's coming out first.
Yeah.
But then once you hit the summer, then you get the announcements for when Mario 3D will be out, when Mario Kart will be out. I'm sure Wii Party is going to be a summer game. I have a feeling that Wii Party is going to be a summer game, or Wii U Party, which is the sequel to that.
Why would we and you play? Or why would we and you have a party? Why couldn't we just have a party?
I don't know.
Don't make it complicated.
But
Here, beat him with this.
I think
I
that's
deserve
summer.
it.
I actually think Mario Kart is summer, like late summer, early fall.
I can see that coming out August.
And then Mario 3D is the holiday title to go along with Zelda.
I can see that coming out like November 22nd.
Yeah, because my thing is, if they're both playable at E3, they're coming out this year. So
It's a port of Mario 3D Land.
I would like to see it something more than that.
Yes.
I mean, if it was a bigger console version of it, not
Mario
of
3D.
Mario 3D Land, but the idea of Mario 3D Land, but expanded to make sense for a console, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
As long as it's not Galaxy 3. I think
Mario
Galaxy,
3D Land with 3 whole new levels.
I think I'm okay with Mario getting a unique concept with every console,
Oh, yeah.
where he was a 2D side-scroller for NES and SNES, and SNES added the whole big world. N64 made him 3D. GameCube gave him the backpack.
More like butt pack.
We put him in space, so let's see what Wii U does. Be nice.
Underground.
And hopefully at E3...
Super Mario Cross Dig Dug.
Hopefully E3 shows off that and actual gameplay footage of what Shin Megami Tensei Crossfire Emblem actually is. Be nice.
Well, it's 2 good franchises.
Yeah.
I mean, wait. Why would they do that?
Why would they
I don't know what Dead
crossover?
Space 3... I don't know how that works.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. That makes perfect sense. That was if anybody's wondering what he's talking about, I wrote an editorial on our website.
You sure did.
DigitalDailyFix.com. What, did you read that?
Yeah, of course I did.
Okay.
I choose one article a month to read on the website that I contribute to, at least verbally.
Yes. I wrote an editorial about gaming journalism. I mean, I do not consider myself a gaming journalist. I do.
I'm more like a gaming diarist.
Yeah.
Diarrhea.
I do the podcasting thing, but I mainly do
Comes
this.
out of my mouth.
I mainly do this for fun.
And he won't shut up.
So when I'm listening to podcasts or reading articles of other places that are reputable with people that get paid to do what I do for fun, I use that as kind of an
Wait, this is
idea
fun?
on,
Asshole.
he is. He's just bitter because he can't get his 3DS.
I got it.
Hey, look, at least I'm not going on after Tim.
I got it.
You're welcome, Tim.
Yet.
No. You're off today. This is
I stand by what I said.
Huh?
Yeah.
I can
You
have
don't
one
want
too.
to? Do you want to play?
I just need to say one thing.
Yeah.
You can play my
I
version.
wouldn't put it.
That's how it, that's how it always works. I say that
it said
one
Brett
thing.
Schrader on it, but I took it anyway.
But, anyway, I use the podcasting websites kind of like as an idea to figure out, what I can do or things I can do to kind of improve the way I write, the way I talk on here, so on and so forth. So when I'm listening to a podcast for a reputable video game blog, one that is owned by a big corporation, one that has podcasts,
Inc.
goes to E3, goes to Tokyo, goes all around the world and reports on games, and I listen to their podcast, and their editor-in-chief doesn't know things about games, doesn't know certain features about big AAA titles coming out this year,
Knowledge is overrated.
when the entire team that they consider their news team closes the show and has no idea what Fire Emblem is, and doesn't know that the Wii U can play Wii games, and the only response they have to certain articles is, "That's weird. That's really weird." And then moving on, I'm just kind of like...
They're just doing this for the trips to E3.
Yeah, I'm just like...
They're doing it for the lulz.
Because here's how it was.
Fuck!
I was listening to the podcast, and I've listened to it every now and then. Usually it's not that bad. It gets a little boring, mainly because they try to cut jokes with each other that I guess are funny to...
The only thing they cut are farts.
Podcast!
I guess they're funny to each other that are on the podcast, but I don't get any of the jokes that they
And
make.
probably a good majority of the people don't get it either.
Yeah. So I listen, and every now and then they're informative, but they open up the show where they talk about what they're playing right now, and the editor-in-chief of the entire site is working on Dead Space. He's doing the review for Dead Space. And they asked him about the co-op. And they asked him if the game is still scary and everything like that. But the main thing is they asked him about the co-op. And for anyone who doesn't know what the co-op for Dead Space 3 is, I will explain it. When you are playing the game by yourself, when you're playing single player, it progresses through Dead Space 3 the same way Dead Space 1 and Dead Space 2 did, through Isaac Clarke. The co-op character is kind of there, like he appears in cutscenes, but he's mainly a guy that is doing something else while you as Isaac Clarke is progressing through the main game. Mm-hmm. Only when you have a friend join in and play the game is he in the cutscenes, is he a part of the main progression of the story. So it's like an alternate version of the game opens up whenever a buddy plays with you.
Right.
So like narrative portions of the game that are explained through cutscenes or teleprompters are explained through the co-op character. And instead of him being like running across a bridge saying, "Oh, hey, we're inside, there's this big thing coming," and he runs inside and you fight the boss, he's down there with you fighting the boss.
Wait, is it a big thing or a big fucking thing?
It's not a big fucking thing, because the big fucking thing would be in, I think, Mississippi, and then you gotta go see the big fucking thing.
Okay. Just making sure.
Wait, can we go see the big fucking thing?
But the big fucking thing's gotta be built. I'm just saying.
Fart!
40 fart, woo! Yeah!
Podcast.
More like butts.
Podcast.
So he's...
Oh, man.
They're asking about the co-op, and the way he's explaining it, or the way that he's talking about it, and the way everybody's reacting, is as if they had no idea the game did this. And it wasn't like a snarky way of me listening going, "Oh my god," they literally were explaining it, and not to you, the listener.
To each other.
They were explaining it to each other and exclaiming... And
that's what you want to hear.
And describing their own surprise that the co-op does that, as if they didn't know. When the way that co-op... When the way that co-op works actually has been announced over a year ago, has been shown at every major gaming conference since then, and the editor-in-chief has already had a co-op experience at an official EA booth where he was explained how it works.
Hey, I was surprised that Lincoln died in Lincoln.
And
you know, if you watch that movie in reverse, there's a happy ending.
Just like Schindler's List.
Thanks, Kobe.
And it ends with a birth.
I hate
so that I don't know, that kind of threw me off, but after that I was like, okay, fine. You know, that's kind of weird, especially because it's the editor-in-chief, but other than that, this segment's fine. The filler segment was one of the guys from the first segment talking about how he got into video games, and I don't know enough about the guy to really care, so I fast forward. I'll be honest.
You would have known enough about the guy.
As you said, fuck this guy.
What I do know is there was some NES game that he had when he was a kid that he thought was better than Legend of Zelda, and he really likes all things Blizzard.
Fuck this guy.
So, whatever. Then they go on to the news section, and they're talking about Nintendo Direct. And this is the main reason why I listened to it. I wanted to hear what other gaming journalists had to say about the Nintendo Direct event.
I don't see this going well.
You know, like, I listened to Giant Bomb. And
There's a new console coming out from Nintendo.
What's Nintendo?
Exactly.
I thought it was Nintendo.
No. What Sega does, Nintendo don't.
So they go.
Don't kill my guys over there.
They go in
Yeah, considered.
and they're talking about Nintendo Direct, and the first thing they talk about is Virtual Console. And one of the guys, and then another guy agrees with him and blurts out that they didn't know Virtual Console wasn't already on the Wii U, which that's fine. I can understand a misconception where people may think Virtual Console was already out and available through the eShop. Then they both were shocked that it plays Wii games. Like, they're like, it plays Wii games? Because, like, one guy explained, yeah, you can access the Virtual Console, but only the Wii Virtual Console through Wii Mode. And they're like, well, what's Wii Mode? And it's like, well, that's the mode you activate to play Wii games. Like, you can play Wii games. It was, like, a development of, like, just shock and awe. Like, they were just like, it plays, it's backwards.
They're doing their
compatible.
job wrong.
And it's like that, if I remember correctly, that was announced during Nintendo's E3 press conference.
Yeah.
Which, if they're the news team, at least a couple of them
News team
would have been at the conference where that announced that. So I thought that was weird. Then they get to the announcement of Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem. And as soon as they announce that that's a crossover, they're kind of like, Shin Megami Tensei, Atlas is teaming with Nintendo to do a crossover between Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem? That's really weird. And then, like, it was a general consensus of one by one, all five of them were like, that's really weird. That's really weird. Like, that's weird.
I don't think it's weird.
And because they didn't understand how those two franchises come together.
That's why it's a crossover.
When to me it's like, all right, what has every crossover been? Capcom vs. SNK, fighting game, crossing with a fighting game.
Right.
Marvel vs. Capcom, that was technically the Marvel superhero fighting game, crossing over with Street Fighter fighting game. Same with X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Everything else in between that has done that. So you take an RPG, a strategy RPG, like Fire Emblem. You take an RPG like Shin Megami Tensei, which is it. As far as this Shin Megami Tensei, it's not Persona. It's the main, like, Devil Summoner, all that other stuff.
Strategy, kind of, for the most part.
Yes. So it's kind of like a strategy game. So it's two similar style RPG genre titles crossing over together, and that's weird. And then they explain, well, I'm pretty sure no one out there knows what Fire Emblem is other than their characters in Smash Brothers.
I hate these people.
They're just under the assumption that nobody knows. So I did research. I was curious. So I go to VG Charts, and I look up the entire Fire Emblem franchise. Fire Emblem has been around since 1994, not in the U.S., but as a game franchise, 1994, started in Japan. I believe it was a Super Nintendo game.
Yeah, I think so.
So, but I believe in 2003 or 2005 is when the first iteration for a U.S. version came out, which was essentially after Marth and Roy were in Smash Brothers for the GameCube. Ever since that iteration, and starting with that iteration and every iteration on, it's been 5 games, the one coming out kind of today, but mainly tomorrow. That would be the 6th game. Every game in that franchise, since it started showing in the U.S., it sold the most copies in the U.S. The U.S. was the highest selling region, even more so than Japan.
But that's weird.
Who has had the franchise since 1994.
Why would Americans buy a Japanese game?
Yeah. So then the guy that's reviewing the game for the news crew is like, yeah, I'm reviewing the game, and I don't even know what it is. And he doesn't even make an attempt to explain what he's doing other than it's a strategy RPG. And that's when everybody else was like, oh, it's a strategy RPG? Like, they didn't even know.
Ah!
And
It's been around. This franchise has been around for almost 10 years, and they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's like one of the larger. It's probably not compared to Mario and Link and all that, but it's a first-party Nintendo franchise, and they don't know about it.
Arm journalism at its best.
Ermagerd Garmin Germer.
To be fair, for anyone who says like maybe that's just a fanboy like me who knows the franchise, maybe that's just a fanboy criticizing. I listened to after that, and here's the one judgment I make before moving on to the other podcasts I listen to. This podcast that I was listening to, the one that has all the crazy issues, came out 4 days after the Nintendo conference. So if you're the news team and you're putting together your section of the podcast and you have to focus on this Nintendo thing, if there's anything on that conference you don't know, you have 4 days to figure out what it is. And those 4 days you could spend just going straight to Wikipedia.
Oh my god, it's like doing your job.
Go to
What?
Go to Wikipedia.
What's the job?
Read that description.
The job by foot.
Go to YouTube, watch
I'm
gameplay
lost.
videos, and you're done. You're literally done.
Now, sounds like hard work. I don't think they got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
They got to figure out how multiplayer works in Dead Space.
I have time for that, and I do it for fun. We have time to do in-depth stuff about the Marvel Now series.
Yeah, we have time. They don't.
Yeah, they don't. They're very busy.
They got to figure out what
They're trying to solve the case of Smuggler's Cove.
They're very busy being hipster douchebags.
It's the helping the Hardball Boys.
No. Mom, John won't let me have the ball.
Mom, he turned off the lights.
I love that one. So
I want cake now. I want it now.
So, as a comparison, I listen to... I will name the favorable podcast. I listen to GiantBomb.com's Bombcast. Comes out every Tuesday. Or they record Tuesday nights. You can listen to it then, or I usually listen to it Wednesday morning. The reviewer that has their copy of Fire Emblem, that is reviewing it for the website, has never played a Fire Emblem game before. But he elected to review it based on his enjoyment of XCOM. He has only done 5 missions of his first ever Fire Emblem. And he went into such intricate detail on how that game works, how characters level up, the relationships that you can earn in that game, how characters evolve, how there is a rock, paper, scissors system to the weapons, how characters can team together and do double attacks. All this stuff in detail as if he had played the franchise for years after 5 missions. Showing his integrity as a video game journalist. And he is on a podcast that 9 times out of 10 when it starts, they're talking about some random bullshit for at least the first half hour that has nothing to do with video games. They could be talking about a liquor they found. They could be talking about a furniture company. They'll just talk about random shit. And then finally somebody will go, so, what are you playing? And then they go into games. And then they'll get distracted again and everything. It's
what you play.
But it's enjoyable to listen to. And he had a complete description. And Giant Bomb, compared to his other website, has not been around as long. Giant Bomb was formed after former GameSpot writer, contributor, reviewer Jeff Gersman was fired from GameSpot.
Probably for doing his job.
He was fired. GameSpot won't say why he was fired, but a lot of people allege the fact that he gave Kane and Lynch, the sequel to it, a really bad review after during a time where GameSpot had that game plastered all over.
Oh yeah, I do remember.
He's that guy.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's that guy.
I thought that was funny.
And then, it was hilarious. And then they fired him, and he took a break, and then he came back with a couple of his. A couple other former video game journalist buddies and created Giant Bomb, and they do a bunch of ridiculous shit, but they do a lot of cool stuff that other sites don't do. Like they were doing the podcast, they do what they call a quick look, where they'll go into a section of a game coming out and they'll play it live while talking about it. So like they'll have like a 30-minute video on playing Devil May Cry. And just showing you the new Devil May Cry and everything like that, which is it's really cool. Like if there's a game out there that you don't really know much about, DMC Devil May Cry, where Dante has black hair.
Oh, that one sucks.
Yeah, not blackface. Don't confuse it with blackface.
They should have blackface.
No.
Mammy!
Blackface Dante.
The Mammy attack.
But that stuff it just kind of drove me nuts. I mean, it's just if this is your profession, kind of take it seriously. to me, I mean, we fuck around, and I don't try to claim myself to be a journalist of anything.
All the fucking around.
I claim that if I'm going to sit there and listen to your podcast, and one, you're not good at being funny or entertaining, you should at least be informative. And if you can't be informative, I don't know what the fuck you're doing on a podcast. Because they were not funny, they were not entertaining, and they were not informing me on anything because they knew less than what I knew about what they were talking about. And just saying that's weird and talking like a bunch of hipster douchebags and just laughing like, ha 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 ha, who plays Fire Emblem?
Nobody plays that game.
You know, like that just insulted my intelligence as a gamer. I was kind of pissed
Brett's
off.
playing my copy that I had to argue with a Target employee to get.
Do you have to argue with them over the phone or in person too?
Over the phone.
Okay.
But once I got there, actually
you can go ahead and reiterate
the lady.
story.
Okay. So I went on an adventure to find Fire Emblem because I heard people were having problems getting it because of the way that Nintendo ships things and retailers not getting their shipments on time and what have you. I went to 5 stores. Nobody had it. Toys R Us was like, yeah, probably tomorrow. GameStop was like, yeah, it's in our system for tomorrow. Walmart and Target were... I went to Target earlier in the day, and they were like, derp. They didn't even know what I was talking about. And Kmart doesn't have anything. I just stopped by there on a whim just to try. Well, ain't nobody got...
Fire Emblem! What the fuck is that?
They hold up...
Get out of my face.
They hold up Imagine Party Babies for the Wii.
You want this?
I don't...
Derp!
Are there swords in it? There's babies.
Are there
Buy the
fires
babies.
with emblems?
There's Mongolian babies.
This is a game where you shoot a rooster at balls.
There is Babar.
You want baby?
There is Babar the baby. And you can... Oh, man, we should talk about Imagine Party Babies one day.
We will. We can do that.
One day. Oh, that game, one of the greatest Wii games ever made, I think. Top 5 Wii games.
Ever made.
Resident Evil 4, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, shut up, Brett. And
try again, dumbass.
Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem. And Imagine Party.
And the one where you shoot the rooster at the balls.
And the one where you shoot the rooster with the balls. But anyway, so I came home defeated and played XCOM for a while. And let me see. So Brian calls me and is like, "Look, showing up in Target system, you should go down there and pick it up." So I'm like, "Great." And after I found out why I wasn't showing up on my iPod because I was like, I wonder. I put your zip code in. And it came up immediately, every place you had done. And then I was like, that's weird. So I put my zip code back in, out of stock all the way down. I don't know why that is, but anyway. So I called Target, and I was like, look, I want this game. Give me this game. Better get some goddamn gas right now. But no,
You put a gun in their face and like, you better give them some of this game right now.
Better some of this game right now.
Some of this goddamn video
you
game
win?
right now.
Yeah.
Okay. No one died, right?
Well, you only have Comet, your main character, left, but a win is a win.
Okay, then.
He made it a win.
That's okay. I put it on casual. I didn't actually put it on casual. But anyway, so I called Target and I was like, I wanted to check this item number. Do you have this game? And and he looked it up and he said, "Oh yeah, there's a stack of them right next to me here. Let me scan it." And he scanned it, and the system says they couldn't sell it to me until Wednesday. And I was like, that's really weird because the release date's today. And he starts to explain to me, which, I understand. He's like, oh, yeah, some games are street dated, blah, blah, blah. And I wouldn't expect him to know that the game actually wasn't street dated. So after I explained to him,
Not
I'm like,
anymore, it wasn't.
well, yeah, the street date was lifted and people just release it when they got it in stock. So he didn't know that, and I wouldn't have expected him to. So I said, hey, I have on your website here that it released 2/1 on the website, and it says available for store purchase. So he's like, it doesn't come in the system. I can't sell it to you. And I said, well, I really would like this game. I can come down with the website, with the website on my iPod. I will be there in 20 minutes. He's like, well, let me talk to my manager. And the manager was like, he knows it's street dated, right? And the guy's like, no, it's not, because I could hear on the radio. And the guy says, no, it's not street dated. It's on the website. Well, it's street dated. And then the guy's like, can I sell him the game or not? And then she finally caves in, and I buy it. They only had 3 copies, and when I got there, the other copies that they had a big piece of yellow paper with tape on it that says, do not sell these until Wednesday. So, I don't know. But anyway, I got the game, and it sounds like some Best Buys put their stock out, and GameStop's supposed to get theirs tomorrow, so I got my copy of the game. I'm enjoying it so far, so I hope people will get to play it soon because it's really fun so far.
Die.
And if there's anybody that currently owns a 3DS and is not at issue with digital downloads, it is available on the eShop for full purchase. So.
Yeah.
That's what I ended up doing. I actually ended up trading in Zombie U, 2 wired headsets, and the chat pad for the 360, and then only had to pay $5 additional for 2 $20 eShop cards.
Cool.
So, it wasn't too bad. So, topic of the night, franchises. Franchises that are...
Topic of the night.
Hey, well, no, it happens, man. It happens, man.
That's okay.
Let me look this up.
Because it's dumb.
So, Brett, you're the one that's talked the least. Give me a franchise that you have played over the years that you feel has gotten stale.
Sleeping Dogs.
Recently, Final Fantasy.
And how has Final Fantasy gotten stale?
Well, quite simply, 10 wasn't that good. And then 12
Sorry.
was kind of, I didn't really like 12. And then they went to 13, which is linear as hell. And then what they do, they made a sequel to a crappy game, like they did for Final Fantasy X.
And then what are they doing now? Making another sequel.
Who knows when that'll come out. And, well, they're also making...
Lightning Returns?
Yeah.
I think that's this year.
Oh.
And well, then there's also Versus. There's also
right to
Versus
your house.
13.
If that comes out.
If that ever
Versus
comes out.
13 could also come out, and that would be yet another spin-off to Final Fantasy 13.
Yep. So the main part of Final Fantasy, they're making a sequel to 11 or an expansion for 11. They're redoing 14 and they're making sequels to 13.
As an aside, Brett, real quick, did you see the cartridge art?
No.
It's really cool here.
What? I don't know. Where's 15 in all this?
I have a
Right through my
feeling
legs.
they're saving 15 for that new next-gen graphics engine.
So, and none of these games are any better. All they do is keep making them linear as hell. That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And they suck. But you have the sheep who are going to tell me that these games are good games.
Sheeple. Hey, Brett, the game gets good about 35 hours in.
In Final
Fuck
Fantasy...
that.
Conclusion, friends don't let friends play Final Fantasy 13 too.
Well, how come you didn't stop me?
I'll drink.
So,
I'd rather drink than play.
I didn't try to stop you because you played
in
it.
13 or 13.2, is there any redeeming quality to anything? Battle system, characters, anything?
Pokemon.
Is there anything that is a gleam of a bright spot in the shit?
I don't really think there is.
Okay.
Because in the battle system, you're only really controlling one person.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, even in 10, I could control my whole party. I was the one giving everybody commands, and I only give one person commands. Here's
my last question for you to go on this before I have to go take chicken wings out of the oven.
Oh, yeah.
It's E3 this year, or E3 whatever year, okay? Square Enix is on stage. They're announcing Final Fantasy 15. What does it have to show for you to go, all right, I'll give that game a shot?
Anus.
Not to get you excited, not to be like, holy shit, Final Fantasy 15, but to go, I like that, I'll give it a shot.
Back to more of their older roots. I mean, all JRPGs are fairly linear because they're telling the story of the characters they want to tell. But they have side quests that you can be like, you know what? Let me go stray off from the main path and I'll do a few side quests and I'll come back.
2D sprites.
Wrong.
Try again, dumbass.
Because the only good thing that 13 and 13.2 did right are the graphics. I don't think they should stop doing that because the game looked pretty.
I don't point out graphics as a plus.
Oh no,
because you can
but
have a
some
game without.
redeeming quality.
Yeah.
I don't think going back to 2D sprites is the way to do it. 2D sprites would be okay with portables or iOS. I don't think the main console should be. Or like a Xbox Live Arcade title it would work for, but not a full-blown $60 release.
Reboot the whole thing.
I think they need to go back to the way it was and put back their older battle system.
Yeah, 2D sprites.
Whatever.
And Tim can have his option for 2D sprites. He's going to pay.
Oh, how cool would that be if you could do full 3D models or 2D sprites?
It'd be interesting.
It wouldn't be cool at all.
The game would be like $1,000.
But
You can get
That's
the
for the controller.
FU Boy edition.
Like this. Rapid fire middle fingers.
Now,
I'm the best.
The fucking best.
I heard a good chunk of what you were saying about Final Fantasy, as far as what it needs to do at E3. What do you think the likelihood is that whatever producer they choose for Final Fantasy 15 takes it to a degree that you're like, I'm interested?
Number 8?
Maybe
You-
3.5%.
I was gonna say you can give it a percentage, you can give it whatever you feel.
I think
I
that
don't think it's very high.
I think that if Mistwalker did it,
If they brought Mistwalker in,
yeah, I could, because Lost Odyssey was a nice surprise for me, because
well, do you also think Final Fantasy is stale?
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I have no interest. I would rather play 11. I would rather go back and play 11 than play 10, 12, 13, 13-2.
Are there any
10-2.
Are there any
The
different
battle
things-
system was interesting in that game, at least.
Are there any different things that Brett did not mention that you feel Final Fantasy would need to do?
Brett
to
pretty
get
much hit
your
it on the head.
interest?
I mean, I can understand wanting to tell a story, but there are lots of other RPGs that do that also give you the ability to do whatever you want. You know, side quests, and even if it's chocobo raising or
Well, yeah, I mean,
a card game,
As I
there's
said,
other
like,
things you can
most
do.
JRPGs are going to be linear because they want to tell the story about these characters how they want to tell it. But at times they do have side quests and you can explore and do all that you can't do in Final Fantasy 13.
And I bet you're even happier about the new one because it's got like a Majora's Mask time limit.
Yeah,
So I know how much of a fan you were of that.
Yeah, that was my favorite part about Majora's
God,
Mask.
that was a pain in the ass.
I was a dick. Though,
Um,
if Majora's Mask came out with an HD remake for 3DS like they did Ocarina of Time, I would buy it.
I'm sure you would.
I would. That's okay. I'll be the only one. I'll review it.
I'm thinking about
I'll
getting
play
Wind Waker HD. I want to see more about it though,
Yeah. Wind Waker was good.
because I never played Wind Waker. So.
It was really good.
Um,
The only thing that was a little annoying about it is sometimes the seafaring parts got a little boring because the map is so big.
Good thing the music was good.
well, from what I
I thought
understand,
everything was good.
from what I understand about that, the reason there were parts where you were in the sea so long is because they took out dungeons from that game.
Yeah.
Like entire dungeons are gone from that game because of time.
But I
time
understand.
restraints
But
and
like, I didn't
development.
hate that because I understood that Hyrule is submerged in water, so there
Yeah.
wouldn't be that much.
Yeah, but it was like the thing was like you would. There was something that was supposed to be in between.
Oh yeah, yeah, I heard
So-
about that.
Yeah,
Maybe they might add it in the HD version.
If
They might
they-
add some bonus dungeons.
if they added that stuff back in, it would almost be to the point to me where if you're a Zelda fan, there's no reason to not have that game
Yeah.
because
Well,
then it's the actual full experience.
you know, I can understand the art style's a little off-putting for some people, but
Yeah.
I think the game's pretty good. It's not as good as Link to the Past.
Well,
it's not as good
yeah.
as Ocarina of Time,
Well,
but it's still good.
Yeah, well, that's why I was saying Zelda fan. I mean, with Brett has played quite a few Zelda games, but I wouldn't really consider you like compared to Howard. I wouldn't consider you a Zelda fan.
No, that's perfectly fine.
Which is why Wind Waker sucked.
I never played. I can't.
Why did Wind Waker suck, Brett?
Because Link looks stupid.
And you wouldn't use graphics to. You wouldn't use
Usually I
graphics
don't.
to compare.
Usually I don't.
You wouldn't use graphics to compare
Usually
how
I
good a game
don't.
is.
This is the only time that I've had an issue with how a character looked.
Convenient.
Yet I played just about every other Zelda.
That's fair. It's your opinion. It's fine.
I just didn't play it because at the time I was kind of done with Zeldas.
Yeah.
I had played Ocarina. I had played Link to the Past. I had played Ocarina of Time. I got into Majora's Mask, and that kind of drove me nuts. And this was the next one after it. And,
Oh, good, because Ocarina of Time was the best
and
one.
I was just like,
Ocarina of Time was the best one.
I'm still in the opinion. I played Link to the Past a hell of a lot
Link,
more.
Link's got purple hair. It's not good.
That's fine. I played that one a hell of a lot more than Ocarina of Time is great. And don't get me wrong, but to me, I like
Twilight Princess was okay.
It was all right. I like Skyward Sword. I thought Skyward Sword did.
Skyward Sword, it's pretty good.
They did it.
haven't beaten it, though.
I felt they did a few cool things that set it apart from the previous attempts at Zelda, but it wasn't the full branch out that they're promising with the actual Wii U Zelda. So we'll see what happens when that hits. What's a franchise? You?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Me?
Yeah. Howard.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog. That's a good call. Why? What is it that has?
Sonic the Hedgehog 2006.
But Generations, I felt was a step back in the right direction.
Only when you were playing as classic Sonic.
Not as 3D Sonic.
Nope.
So
Because it's still controlled like butt.
should there be more 2D Sonics again?
I think Sonic works best as 2D. other than Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, no other 3D Sonic game has been good. So maybe they need to go back to the Sonic Adventure formula. What they're trying to do is they're trying to inject anything else but what Sonic is. Sonic in the Black Knight or whatever it was, dumb. Sonic in the Sonic Colors was like a step in the right direction, and maybe that's what they need to focus more on.
What about Sonic Rush?
Fuck is that shit?
It's a DS one.
Oh.
That one was okay.
Oh, man.
I asked because I know he played it.
The two screens kind of threw me off because there was that gap, and it's nothing against the game, but I just had a hard time with that because it was, I don't know, it just was kind of jarring when you're going from top to bottom and top to bottom. But it was a good concept, but it's just like it's still stale. Like they put little pieces of things that look good, but it never amounts to a good game. Like Generations was cool, but after you get through Green Hill Zone and Chemical Plant Zone and a couple other classic levels, it's just right back into like modern Sonic, and I just don't care.
Yeah, I played Unleashed, and Unleashed Unleashed kind of felt like Star Fox Assault. Because when you were regular Sonic, just like when you were in the spaceship in Star Fox Assault.
Have you played that shit?
Star Fox Assault?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because fucking booty.
Because they tricked you into thinking, oh my god, classic Star Fox is back. And then they made
That's an honorable mention for me.
Yeah. Star Fox?
Why am I seeing all these fucking dinosaurs?
And it's not that it's stale.
Star Fox hasn't had enough games to be stale.
Yeah,
what?
It's true.
But it's a franchise that needs a true new installment.
That's because Nintendo hates Star Fox.
It's kind of like
They
Capcom and
really
Mega Man.
do. They really do.
Look, Nintendo, we know that all their legs are robo legs.
The
We'll get over it.
But to finish my point of the comparison, when you played as regular Sonic in Sonic Unleashed, I actually felt those mechanics played fine. The gameplay and everything. It's when it turned into a beat 'em up and you became a werehog that I'm like,
that was my favorite part.
no.
Oh, Sonic and the Sacred Ring or whatever, also butt.
Yeah. Okay, so same E3 question. What does Sega have to show you to go?
I want
An actual butt.
I want
McGee.
Sonic 5 to be. You know what? I think Sonic is best as Xbox Live Arcade game. I don't think it has enough to hold up as a full retail release anymore.
You don't think you don't think if they gave it to the right team, they could come out and pull like a Galaxy?
Just give it to Team Ninja.
They could come out and pull like a Mario Galaxy and just completely.
Give it to Team Ninja.
Imagine the blood in that game.
Yeah,
But then fans will complain because Sonic's hair is black.
I don't want human girlfriends in a Sonic the Hedgehog game. I don't want him running around an actual town full of people. I don't want that shit. I want Sonic running to the right really fast.
I want Sonic to put on some goddamn pants.
I see what you did there.
Put on some pants.
You got angry with that
slick
one.
his hair back.
Oh, give him a gun.
2 guns.
2 guns.
And a shirt with a popped-up collar.
3. A 1 shirt, 3 collars.
Call him Brohog.
All
Yup.
popped.
Brahog.
All popped.
Sonic the Brog.
So they just got to show you an Xbox Live Arcade. You don't think there's anything they can do for a console one? Like
No, I think they need to cut it back and go and release a couple of those and then maybe try again.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of Sonic anymore, but I don't think there's anything they could do to tell me that this game is worth $60.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they have they have loyal Sonic fans, but I don't think the casual fan is going to give them a chance for full retail.
They need a string of successful arcade games.
So it doesn't have the legs that Mario does to really be
Not
a
at
full
all.
purchase.
Sonic 5. Oh, and stop with the whole Part 1, Part 2 bullshit too. Release Sonic 5 for like $20 or 20 or even $30 if they can prove that it's worth that. And 2D Sonic running to the right really fast.
Okay.
No more homing air bullshit. No more 3D. Just running to the right really fast.
Okay.
I just don't think Sonic works in 3D nearly as well as Mario does. He never has.
And Spikes in Nature.
Biggs the Cat also needs to be in it.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
I actually kind of liked his part in Sonic Adventure 1.
I don't want Silver the Hedgehog anymore. They need to kill off some characters, too.
Oh, shit.
Like Nurkles.
Well, they don't really have to kill them off. They just have to kind of reset everything.
Stop at Rouge the Bat. After Rouge the Bat, I don't want that.
How about kill off everyone that came after?
What about
Sonic
Shadow?
Shadow's okay. Shadow came out around before Rouge the Bat did.
Same time.
About the same time, yeah.
Because it was Sonic 2.
I don't want Cream the Rabbit. Fuck that shit.
He wants the Chaotix characters to have.
No. Well, they were out before, so I guess they're okay. I want Vex.
You want the B.
Fuck that pig.
I was just gonna say that.
Why am I attached to the bird?
What about the Robotnik robot in Sonic Adventure 1? The one whose like campaign was 2 hours long and had the saddest ending ever.
I'm okay with it.
That ending literally made me sad when I watched
Yeah, I want, and then after they release a couple of arcade games to get fans back into Sonic Adventure 3.
Okay.
That's what I think, and I could be completely wrong, but that's okay.
I was gonna say God of War 3, because
Well, God of War 3 isn't the franchise.
You're just saying, but you're
for God of War,
God of War
all
in general.
three of them.
Bah!
And
Oh,
upcoming
boy.
4.
But
Or I guess upcoming 0.
whatever you want to call it.
Whatever.
You know, I enjoy button mashing games as much as the next guy. You know, I play a lot of Dynasty Warriors.
Okay. Same here.
And so, you know, you'd figure something like God of War would appeal to my tastes, you know? Going in, just wrecking shit. But, you know...
I want a Wreck-It Ralph style God of War game.
You can only rip people in half so many times after being
Exactly, you know? And after I played the first game, I was like, I don't think I need to play
That's
the
awesome.
I don't think I need to play the other two, the next two. You know? Done.
Second one. Okay.
Yeah.
Third one. Oh.
There's more blood.
Third one also has some pretty awful platforming.
Yes. I've never had so much time or so much trouble double jumping before in a video game ever.
Which is why my favorite God of War is Darksiders 2.
That's kind of my favorite version of it, too.
Is God of War the type of franchise that they could show something off that would make you give it another
God
shot?
of War kart racing.
Dibs on Zeus.
See, I've already hooked someone.
Dibs on Zeus.
Dance Central 4, God of War.
Oh my god.
God of War Connect.
A crossover. Ah!
I guess
That'll be as bad as Dragon Ball Z Connect.
No, see what they do is they
Or I guess
Wait,
God of
hold on.
War
That's a real thing.
Yeah, that's legit.
you need an attachment for God of War Connect where you
Well, I guess it'd be God of War move.
Alright, well you'll still need
it's one of the worst
you'll
games
still
ever
need a
made.
chain to attach to your move and you have to swing it around so you destroy your TV at the same time. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Ah, no, my
While
TV.
Call on Me plays.
And is there actually anything that they could do?
More boobs?
What
I
if
think
it
there
was
would be-
More
I think-
opening scenes of just random fucking.
what if it's
I did like that. That was neat.
the random fucking?
Yeah, it's like quick time event sex.
What if it was like like in the God of War universe, but they focus on a different character?
I think that's what would be best at this point.
Or they
I
could-
think
if
Kratos.
they really had the balls, they'd go after Allah.
Muhammad.
Yes, Muhammad.
I think Kratos is done. There needs to be another person.
Okay. So you would
I'm
give
sorry,
it.
Stem. I didn't mean that.
No, you're absolutely.
So you
right.
would give it a chance if they actually pulled an interesting character from the franchise and made him the focal point.
Yeah, like Zeus.
No, it'd have to be
Like, tell it from Zeus's perspective. Here, this random fuck running around, killing all my buddies,
I
Oh,
think
boys.
all my boys.
they need a completely clean slate, like new character, new place, just a completely new mythos going.
Islam.
Like keep. Well, you saying like keep the mechanics, but put it in like Norse mythology or
Norse,
like
Roman, you know, stay in that same realm. Then you know, if those are successful enough, you can feed off of your.
Well,
kind of like how Assassin's Creed does. Where they
Why
go different
not a
time
Persian?
periods.
They've done a Spartan. Why not a Persian?
This is Sparta.
So you want a different
you.
character? I'm giving an idea.
I don't know.
What if they did an arena combat game with God of War characters?
how many God of War characters are there? Just Kratos.
Well,
Yeah, he's the only one left. He
Well, you
killed
would
everyone
do.
else.
Well, I mean, in an arena combat game, it's not going to follow the lore of the main title, so it's just pulling other characters, which would be other
Sweet
gods.
Tooth.
It would be other gods, so it would be like Zeus and Ares.
Like War God 64.
Fuck you.
No,
Fuck
no,
you.
fuck you.
Fuck you.
That
Whoa,
game
whoa.
is really bad, but it would be just like that. Kabuki Joe.
Go eat wings. Just go eat wings.
I need to dip them in cheese, so I can't yet.
Matt, is there any franchise that you can think of that does something like that?
God of War.
God of War. Let's see.
That you've played for a while, and after the last one, you're just like, something's got to change.
I agree with Sonic, because the last one I think I played. Well, I don't like racing games, so I can't count Sonic.
You didn't play Sonic R?
No, well, the thing was that Sonic racing game when you guys came to my house and we played that, where I couldn't fly a fucking
All-Star
plane.
Racing.
That was shit to me. So never bring that over to my house again.
I think it was right back.
Gonna bring it over.
But Friday. But what was it? They already Devil May Cry. They listened to me because I felt that this storyline was getting way out of control and it was not done chronologically
I think the
anyway.
problem
Still isn't.
I think the problem was 2 was the best. They can't get back in that.
Shut up.
Two was the
See the problem. They fixed it because they went forward, and then it's like, you know what, we better go backwards instead.
Yeah.
And now let's just reboot the whole goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know. I don't really like. I mean, I played Final Fantasy X, and I think the kind of freaked me out. The main character looked too much like a woman. It kind of freaked me out.
Like Meg Ryan.
Like Meg Ryan. So I didn't like it. So I stopped that. I played Dirge of Cerberus. That can go fuck itself. Hard and in the butt. Because that
What
game
a big old
was,
dummy.
was terrible.
Hey.
And I still have it.
I believe you mean terrible.
Crisis Core was.
No, I didn't play it. I think Dirge of Cerberus. I was like, no, I'm not.
no, he would have had to have a PSP. I don't know if you ever had a PSP.
No.
You can borrow mine if you want. And Crisis Core.
Sure.
It's not terrible, actually. It's mediocre.
Don't lie to me. Are you lying to me?
No, it's actually not terrible.
No.
It's actually not that bad.
It's alright.
On a scale of 1 to Dirge of Cerberus, how good is it?
Better than
Wouldn't it be Dirge of Cerberus to 1?
Sure.
Okay. I would say
a solid
point Dirge of Cerberus.
Okay, good.
point. Dirge.
Good. Okay, good. That's all I need to know.
I would just say Cerberus.
Dirge of Cerberus.
No,
I'll say Dirge.
It's just the Dirge part.
Dirge O.
Dirge O. It's just
I'm
Cerberus.
just sticking with
The
Cerberus.
boys just like, yeah, it's just Cerberus.
Not Serb.
Here's a question
You
directed
got
to Howard and Brett. Since
No.
the three of us have played Call of Duty since 2, is there anything?
No screen peeking.
Is there anything Activision
Screen
could
peek
do
first.
to the franchise to get you interested again?
No, but I'm fine with what they do because the idiots out there keep buying it.
I can't blame them.
Kudos to Activision because I do the same thing. You get these idiot sheep like, we're gonna buy the next Call of Duty, and they're gonna complain and bitch about how much this game sucks. And they're like, oh, you know what, this game's not that bad.
I think they have collective Alzheimer's, though.
Yeah.
Like, I feel that they play the game they buy, and then it's not what they want, and it's terrible, and then they tell themselves, I will never buy another Call of Duty game again. And then the next one comes out, and they go, oh, well, this has got to be good. I mean, I'll buy it. It's that circle of, like, shit
Well,
that just keeps happening.
This is a circle that happens. They buy the game. They talk about how shitty it is. Then they're like, I'm never going to buy another Call of Duty again. And then sometime between the point and then next year when the next Call of Duty comes out, they convince themselves that Call of Duty is a good game. And then they buy the next one, cycle repeats.
But in the meantime, between those, they still play the one that they hate.
Yes, well, they begin to like it. They
have
tell
to
themselves that they justify buying it by telling themselves that they love it.
They start having Patty Hearst syndrome.
Yeah.
And then they go, that's the circle. And kudos. Can I make a Call of Duty game and sell these idiots on?
Yeah.
Great.
You know what? You could probably just
Well-
slap Call of Duty on it, and they buy it.
It's Call of the Duty, 2 O's and a D. And this is the toilet.
Is there something, in your opinion, Activision would do? Like, if they came out with a Call of Duty that you'd go, oh, okay, I'd be interested in playing that.
No. Because while the single player hasn't been terrible, like they've been okay, like all the single player campaigns and all the Call of Duty games have been okay. Not nearly long or exciting enough to merit the purchase alone. Obviously the main idea is for the multiplayer. The community is terrible. Terrible. The multiplayer is mediocre to me. That if the community really kills it for me personally.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because it's like I just have no interest in playing it, and plus you're just doing the same thing over and over again.
Okay.
And it's just there's no. I don't know. It just doesn't interest me. If you like it, that's fine. But.
What if as a one-off? So like,
the zombies mode is kind of neat, I guess.
Yeah. So you have the main series, which
we'll
is
get that next year.
Call of Duty 2, 3, Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. And then the spin-offs, which is World at War, Black Ops, Black Ops 2. Say for the next one that's a spin-off. Not Black Ops 3, just a whole different thing. They decide, as something different, since this is the spin-off series and not the main, they make it third person, and they introduce cover-based combat.
I would just play Gears of War.
Okay, no, I'm just asking. Like, I'm literally.
Gears
just
of
a
War is
question.
established. I would be interested to see how they do it, but I think at the end of the day, I would just, and it's probably just because I'm a Gears of War fanboy, not a fanboy, but I'm a big fan of the game. It's just, I don't know.
I'd be disappointed in them.
Would you?
Yeah, I don't know if they'd plateau with the sales if they turned to third person.
Well,
I want to keep gouging these fuckers for their money.
That's why I'm saying you make it the off series. Like you do because you can't. There's no way they can keep just doing. Okay, then the next one is Modern Warfare 4.
I
Black
honestly
Ops.
want to see them try.
You want to do 4 and then 3 and then 5 and then 4.
Because the thing is, they're going to keep getting like these 9.5s and 9s out of 10s. These idiots are going to keep going out, running out, buying them, just so they can repeat the process of leveling up in multiplayer over again, so that they can then prestige. And then by the next one, have to do it all over again. It's great.
But the thing is,
It's the problem I have with like MMOs too. It's like when you get to the highest level, you're shit again, and then you have to build it back up. And then the new expansion comes out, and you're shit, and you have to go buy it in order to get the armor so that you're good enough again. And then it's just.
But if they don't release that expansion, now this is for MMOs, not for that. If they don't release that expansion and you get max level and you get the best gear. What
generally
do you do?
speaking,
Go outside.
In a MMO, you usually attain the best gear, and you have that for a while. What do? You do nothing. So they have to release something for you to do.
Yeah.
It works a little differently, but so that maybe wasn't the best example. I apologize.
Let's not talk about the guys outside.
Anybody got time for that?
No.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Okay, no, I was just curious about
Millions
Call of Duty. 'Cause I know
Yeah,
a lot
but
of
see,
it
Call of
back
Duty.
down.
I guess to argue against my argument, MMOs are hundreds and hundreds of hours of gameplay, whereas Call of Duty, I guess, is arguably hundreds of hours of
Hundreds
nice.
of
Of you looking at a red dot,
Hundreds of hours.
and
Hundreds of hours.
and
Hundreds of hours.
and waiting for an enemy to go to cross your crosshair for you to press the right trigger. So, I guess that's the difference.
Fair enough.
I have
I'm just
never played a
curious.
Call of Duty game.
Because I seriously, I want them to go to
You
Modern
know what?
Warfare
You know
4,
what?
Black Ops 3,
Remain
and
pure.
keep doing that. And I want to see how long they
Neither
keep
have I.
doing this before people stop buying their games, is what I want to see.
Because, I mean, the only thing I can think of is after a while, like, I guess the next progression is introducing regular vehicles like Battlefield does.
Super Modern Warfare.
No, it's going to be like back in the era when guns first came out, and it took you like 8 to 12 minutes to reload it.
There have been games made like that.
I don't know.
Oh
And
my
I'm
God.
sure they're great.
I'm trying to
They're
think.
games.
Call of Duty Wars, like Halo.
An RTS?
They could probably do that.
An RTS would be interesting. That would be a niche game. That would be something that they'd have to give, like...
Yeah, but Call
Fighting
of Duty
game,
players
an
aren't smart
RTS
enough to
studio.
do RTSs.
Fighting game.
Well,
Rhythm game.
A Call of Duty RTS wouldn't be something that they could make their big Call of Duty release for the year. That would have to be something where they would take whatever development studio they have under the Activision umbrella that has familiarity with RTSs, throw the Call of Duty name on it, and see how it sells. And that would be like, this isn't our main
In space.
thing. You know, that's why I would like to see how they would handle a third-person shooter. I would like to see how they would handle. I'm not saying I would definitely buy it, but I would like to see them. I would like to see them just come out and be like, bam, and it's just something completely different. They don't need to. By God, they don't need to. But it would be interesting, like when they reach that point, what is it? Like, wha-bam, here it is.
Yeah, I think that's just, I don't know, I have a problem with games that come out, like, at the same time every year.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, like, even to a point I can understand, well, not even really anymore, can't really understand even, like, Madden or anybody doing it, because you just do alt roster updates now.
Yeah.
But, I'm not saying you should release one for every 10 years, because they wouldn't make any money, but, I think you should maybe cool their jets on releasing one a year.
With sports games, you
But
can't.
how are you going to keep adding players
That's the thing.
to the covers?
With sports games, because the deal is with the sports.
No, I mean, that's fine.
No.
We're not talking about that.
Yeah.
But it's just,
With Call of Duty, with ones that
Call
don't,
of Duty, it comes out every year. It's just,
and they don't necessarily need to do.
I don't think they need to. I mean, they're going to, and I understand why they
Tell
do.
those idiots stop buying it.
I agree with
They're
Brett.
so
I'm not
stupid.
really necessarily mad at Activision
Oh.
for milking it as much as they can, because I can't say that I wouldn't do the same thing.
No, I would
I
do
like
it hard.
money. Brett
Yeah.
likes money, so I can buy more copies of Call of Duty. But it's just like, if people are pissed off about it, all the time, don't buy it one year.
Well, no, they
everybody
will. They'll
just
keep
stop
buying it.
buying it for a year.
No, they'll
and
keep
then
buying it.
They convince themselves they end up loving it.
Force them to innovate it.
Patty Hearst syndrome.
Here's my closing question for the entire show.
Yes.
No.
As we talked about last week,
Maybe.
the close to confirmed rumor is that Take-Two/2K Sports now has the WWE gaming franchise. So more than likely, probably not a game this year. There could be, but probably not. Which also means probably a new development team. Which also means a whole new wrestling game.
Nobody got time for that.
So, not focusing on what 2K has done with other sports, focusing specifically on a WWE game that you now know will be under a new development team, under a new publishing studio, and will probably get introduced to a bunch of new ideas. What would you want/hope for out of a new developer tackling a franchise like that?
Bring back Creative Belt.
I like that. I said that last week too. I agree.
Create a belt. I would like the create a pay-per-view function.
So
Hurricane
you
as a
want
legend.
more creative options.
Yeah, more creative options. I mean, I don't really care about the. I mean, I like WWE 13. I think it's way better than 12. I'll tell you that. So, in terms of what you can do with it.
Hurricane is a legend, unlockable.
As much as all those are nice, I think I
Probably,
just want
I
them
don't
to take the first step of actually making a functional, good game. Since they'll be in the hands of a new studio. As much as all those creative stuff is nice and all, I'd rather them have a functional, good game
Can they just re-release Here Comes
before
the
they
Pain?
start adding anything new.
Update
Do you
the
feel the
graphics?
control scheme that was in WWE 12 and 13 is a suitable one to build the game around, or should it be rebuilt again?
It's probably going to end up getting rebuilt, but the system that they've had it's pretty much been around since
It's a recreation of the No Mercy.
Essentially, that's what it comes down to. It's been around since WCW World Tour, that entire engine.
WCW versus the world.
I'd be AKI man.
I remember that game. That game had
It's
so
Yes,
many-
it's a mission where he just
They
punches
even
you
still
in the
have the
face.
same powerbomb motion.
Mm-hmm.
So that entire system had worked for
I want No Mercy too.
for like 15, 16 years. Okay, that
Here
entire
Comes the Pain.
fighting engine.
Mhm. So you want a whole new engine.
It's not that I want a whole new engine. It's just that I just want them to make a functional, good game first.
Yeah.
That's the very first important thing.
It doesn't need to have 80 bazillion features. Well, I mean,
No.
the thing is, though, 2 years ago, they essentially hit the reset button. I mean, I know they're going to hit the reset button again, but I feel like if they're not going to have a ton of features, they need to have one kick-ass one.
And that's fine, but
To
make everything else work first.
Yeah. Whether it be...
I want...
WWE Connect.
Absolutely not. I'm sorry, Frank. I finish.
Hulk Hogan's made
Huh.
that.
I want a story mode,
Shove it up your ass, boy.
like, not like
I would.
13, not like 12,
You
Some
want
of
it
the
like it was
early-
before, where it was your create a guy.
you're creating a guy, or you can choose any other wrestler on the roster, and as you progress up, You can run into people in the locker room and form random tag teams. Like, you had, like, all these crazy tag teams that would never be on WWE television, but they're in your game.
I know this is crazy gold dust. Call me maybe.
You know, all this other stuff you could do. Like, I want that. I don't want, alright, the story modes are only Sheamus, Triple H, your created character, and some other schmuck, and you follow this story that the WWE writers wrote. No. No. I want this to be like, hey, this is your story. This is story mode. It's gonna start here. It's gonna end at Mania, and then after that, it will cycle through with little tiny changes every progressing year that you just keep going through it, like a franchise mode for wrestling.
I think it would be cool if, actually, the thing that I want the most that is a mechanic, I want a true Royal Rumble mode. More than 6 guys.
At least 8.
I would say 8 to 10.
8
And they could...
all controllable or just in the ring?
Well, I mean, you can only have 4 controllable, 4 players, but I think it would be cool to have, like, 10 guys in the ring at once.
Yeah.
That sounds to me like a next-gen game.
Probably. But that's what I want.
Yeah.
I want
Go to hell.
as close to a Royal... I mean, even if you have to downgrade the graphics...
That's what I was going to say.
For that, just for, like, if you could have to make it so...
I felt like there was a lot of features in WWE 13 that they could have got rid of just to add 2 more guys into the Rumble. That's all. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
No?
I mean, we'll see. That was mainly what I was...
I also want, like, your story mode, but I want that story mode to be, like, its own ecosystem where, like you said, tag teams form randomly, you know, let the game kind of go, you know, let random things happen, let a box fall on somebody's head or something.
Let it work like Madden Superstar mode, where, you know, the initial goal of it is to main event WrestleMania, but after that, your goal is to have your created character get into the WWE Hall of Fame. Have a Hall of Fame career. And then you can have, like, once you've main evented WrestleMania, it will give you various goals, like, be a 3-time world champion, or hold both belts at the same time, or...
I'd rather just be a champion until my career's over.
Hold title for this, or try to keep the title for this amount of time, and as you get closer to that time, the difficulty of the characters would increase. Because it has to. If the goal is for you to break... If it says, break CM Punk's 430-some day title reign in story mode, for you to get past that, it needs to be fucking difficult. And I don't mean...
Brad Maddox.
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 I don't mean like...
Brad Maddox.
I mean, you could have that. You could have where, as you get closer, run-ins are happening.
Or like, you know,
the AI attempts to screw job you.
Sprinkle a little RPG in there and give us face or heel choices. And have our character become face or heel naturally, other than picking, oh, my guy gets cheered or booed. Like,
Yeah, I've always hated that part of that.
I mean, you know, in earlier games that's fine, but I wouldn't mind seeing, you know, very
progression.
light, not to the level of like Mass Effect, where 3 games later your choice is blah blah blah. Shut up, Brett. I saw you look at me. Mass Effect 3 and all that.
I don't see why we had to bring up Mass Effect.
Because I'm
Other
talking
games
about-
have choices.
Other
Okay.
games do, but what game is more known for choices than Mass Effect?
You had choices in Star Wars.
But that was built
Okay,
off of Mass
okay.
Effect.
How about just
no, you're talking about Knights of the Old Republic.
a la
Never mind,
insert
sorry, I was thinking about
insert
the-
BioWare game here.
Okay, BioWare. There we go.
I'll just say BioWare. You know, your character slowly becomes face or heel, and then you have alliances that form based on how much of a heel or how much of a face you are. That'd be kind of neat. Or if, you try to stay neutral, you can do that too. You could be
Tweener.
you could be a Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know, where it's just Stone Cold stun everybody and everyone cheers you for it. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the goal, to get, you know, there. Or make it so you have to pick one of 5 really shitty gimmicks and you have to break out of that, you know.
I would be
You
Fang
know,
McFrost.
You can Fang McFrost, the Pittsburgh Penguin, the Gobbledygooker, Man Mountain Rock, and somebody else. You have to pick that
Do
kind
they
of
have
gimmick.
to pay Man Mountain Rock for using...
Abe Knuckleball Schwartz.
I mean, that would be an easy thing to do. Just
Or like if you are
Get your own YouTube show.
Or if you're Suicide, and you know,
you
commit
make
suicide.
I think they need to have the Butthole of Doom match.
like you make your character.
TNA Impact 2. Or that already exists, doesn't
Good
it?
enough.
TNA Impact 3.
No, Impact 2 does not exist.
Oh,
The point is to buy Impact.
Oh
I would.
no, you make
you would.
you make your character, and the game starts off right with whatever brand. Like you get, I mean, at that point, brands probably don't matter, but start off on a show.
Well, if
And
you
then
pick SmackDown, John Cena won't challenge.
Or
for
like
the
if you
heavyweight
want to
title,
drag
because he could
NXT
easily
in,
win.
Yeah.
have your guys start on NXT and then they have to win a tournament.
Yeah.
And then depending on the tournament you win, you can either go
You beat
with
up by
Raw or
somebody
you get to
there.
choose whether you go to Raw or SmackDown.
Or have-
and you get then you go you just start as a jobber or as a new guy and work your way up. So I think that would be neat.
Your goal, losing.
And of course, have all the flashback stuff, legends, and all that good stuff. But I think it'd be kind of cool to have a mode where you could, like you were saying, just have random tag teams forming, where you have like Bob Backlund team with Kane, like
Or earn a manager like Rick. Like you're able to convince Ric Flair to be your manager.
Paul Bearer.
or Great
Paul Bearer.
yeah, like someone comes to you and says, "Hey, I really think I could be a great manager." And then it's like, oh, "Okay, great." And then they go out there, and then some other guy comes up and is like, "No, you should be," and then that'd be a face or a heel choice.
Or they could have something where
Shane it wouldn't
you
be
can
fun.
go into the locker room and there's a legend in the back, and you can approach him and say, "Hey, I want you to be my my mentor
like
or
early
something."
SmackDown games.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, the first person view was kind of weird, but it was still kind of neat. Like you run into Ric Flair backstage, and he's like, "I like you, kid, but I don't know if I like you enough to manage you." And then, then all of a sudden it's like, "All right, well,
Then you do him a favor.
yeah, set up matches, do that,
Mouth
pay his
service.
taxes,
I think
Mouth
it was
service.
Here's Some Pain where they had that
He
survival
knows where
mode
it's
where you
going.
beat up the entire roster in the street.
Oh my god, yeah, I think so.
That was
But,
awesome.
Or just have WWF Betrayal 2.
No,
Crush Hour.
no.
I'm not
I
saving
owned that
her.
game. I owned.
I'm not
Crush
saving
Hour.
her. Fuck
well,
that. No.
well-
I'm not saving the boss's daughter just to get a title shot. That's bullshit. That is the worst fucking premise for a video game ever.
Which WrestleMania was it where it starts off with you being fired by Vince McMahon, and then Stephanie secretly
Was
rehires
it
you
18?
to sabotage, like, WWE
Was
programming?
it
I-
WrestleMania 18 the game?
That's what I think it was.
I think it was X9.
It was one of the- it was one of those.
I think X8 was the first GameCube one. That was the one where the default created character was
Shawn
Shawn Michaels.
And Booker T didn't have any eyeballs. He
His
just had,
eyes
like,
were so huge.
He just had like black dots for eyes.
Oh my god, I remember that. We had
That was bad.
But
that game was bad, but we had fun creating some stupid ass people in it.
Betrayal was just god awful.
Yeah. It was.
WWF Betrayal 2.
Hey,
for the
my
3DS.
daughter's been kidnapped.
All right, then.
Here's a title shot.
I think it's as good a spot as any. We're
Vince.
we're almost 90 minutes in. So, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed this latest episode of the Digital Reload. We will be back next week. I think next week will be a good spot to talk handhelds. So
I own them.
there we go. We'll talk.
I have hands.
We'll talk handhelds and how iPods have
You
come to
hold them with your hand.
come
I
to make
hold
an
Howard's
impact.
hand with my hand.
I'll bite that off.
All right,
No.
we'll see you
I
guys
called
later.
his bluff.
Bye.
And
And. Good show.
They're all so stupid.